You'll never be the person you want to be if you keep drinking.
Long Shots, a podcast about your favorite underdogs.
You sound like you were very cognizant of the damage you were doing to the people around you while you were going through it.
So there was a weird moment for me. I was like, really, really messed up. It was a beautiful summer day, and I was on the couch because that's what I did. You know what I mean? I was high on the couch, beautiful summer day. Go outside, have a cigarette, come back in, and I'm watching the movie Ray. And
Can I ask high on what?
Opiates and dope.
Okay, just everything. Yeah, I get it.
And mostly oxy, but heroin in the end.
Yeah.
And then I got physically addicted to booze, and it was horrible. It was like horrible. My body was all. It was like I really did a number on my body, and but anyway, so it's a beautiful summer afternoon, and I'm watching the movie Ray, and for whatever reason that there's a part in there when he kicks cold turkey, and for whatever reason, I've seen that movie a gazillion times. For whatever reason, I was like, dude, I'm gonna have to do that one day. Like that day's coming. You know what I mean? Like I knew that I wasn't going to be able to sustain this way of life for a long time. And because I remember I used to get shit from this one guy, and he was an older guy, and he was like, you're not doing it right. And I'm like, dude, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, I don't see how I could maintain this lifestyle until I'm older, but he seemed to have done it.
What do you mean you're not doing it right?
I was always I was always dope sick. You know what I mean? Like I would always,
show up dope sick?
I would just, what's that?
You show up dope sick? Like when you guys met, you didn't feel good?
Yeah, I would not feel good, or I would call him a million times because I did everything you know what I mean, that I got the day before, and I
know.
That's always that was always my story. Like I just always did that, and I knew that I was breaking my mom's heart. You know what I mean? I knew that I had a girlfriend at the time, and I definitely broke her heart to the point where she was just like, I can't do this anymore. She tried to help me. I got fired from jobs. Car was repossessed, all that stuff. And I know the people around me are watching, but I just am not willing to change.
Yeah.
Yet.
But
I was just so scared.
Of course.
I was just so scared, man.
There's a real resistance for whatever reason into getting sober, into bettering yourself. And anyway, because I think, I don't know how you feel about it, but since I quit drinking, it has been, and again, I'm a workaholic, so it always goes to work stuff for me, but there is a constant reevaluation of bettering myself now. Oh. It's just a constant.
The commitment to growth is just
the rest of your life. It's just, that's all that's part of my selfishness thing about kids. And again, I know that maybe I'm just, using an excuse. Maybe it's a cop out, but I don't know what other thing is important in life other than growth. The stagnance. If you stop, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I can't not, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the growth, the resistance is odd, because you think you'd want to get sober, and you think that it's a better life. You know that it would solve so many problems, and it's just I know there's a physical addiction, but there is just something that's just and you're an addict. It's crazy.
No, the physical addiction, as painful as all that was, I'd have to tell you that it was the easiest part of it. Wow. The physical kick, and I didn't sleep for months, all that stuff, but having to do all the stuff that makes me better, interacting with people on an intimate level, you know what I mean? Especially if, the way I would show up, in relationships with women, not being so selfish, and not being so dismissive about your partner's ideas and goals and dreams. You know what I mean? That's
an interesting thing. Why do you say that?
Well, because it was always all right, so I told you I didn't grow up with a lot of money.
I had that problem a little bit. But
I didn't grow up with a lot of money, so I was hell-bent on being successful.
Yes.
So I graduated high school. I by the skin of my teeth, because I was such a fucking pothead and, stoner surfer kid, but I get into this school, I get into Johnson Wales up in Providence. I go there for a year, but then I transfer. I come back down to here to Pace downtown, and I graduate. I put myself in a good school, and then I get a good job here in Midtown working for like for like an ad agency essentially, and the market falls out in '07 and I lose my job and I feel like this like a failure and I just have like no identity now because everything I'm trying, I keep failing each time I keep trying, and I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, I am doing everything that my peers are doing. I'm working full time at the restaurant and going to school, paying for it. Like, I'm like, I'm going to get what is mine. Yeah. I'm gonna get mine because I deserve, because I put in the work.
I deserve it. Is the real feeling.
Yes, I deserve it. Right? I'm like,
I
earn this. Like I'm doing what everybody else is doing, and I'm good because all I wanted was a shot. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I wanted was a shot to get in there, and I'll do what I've been doing already, but in a different way, and I'll go. Yeah. You know what I mean? And when it wasn't working, I just didn't know what to do with myself.
And the identity thing is what did that.
Yeah.
You said that, and I think about that a lot. Tying your identity to stuff.
Yeah. Like I tie my identity to like I work. Like that's my identity. Like I work. You know, like, and I'll put that ethic that into pretty much anything that I do, especially to this growth thing. But
when you're doing all that stuff and you're not working, your identity's hurt. Like, you don't know who you are as a person when you're failing at the thing you're trying.
When I'm now just like a drunken junkie, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so shameful.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I can't believe I've gotten away from this person that I was, and like the insurmountable like road ahead is just like, how am I ever going to get through this? And that's why the thought of community is just so important, because like once I decided to finally do it, I heard some people that were like down out like I was and who are no longer like that and are living these lives now, but they had to do some certain things first and they had to commit to growth. Yeah.
Yeah. It is committing to growth.
Yeah. No matter how painful it's going to, painfully slow.
Well, take me back to that Ray thing though. Like, was that the defining moment that you were kind of like, oh shit?
That was
that was one of the first things.
The first thing that I knew. Yeah, it was the first thing that stuck in my mind where I was like, I'm going to. Eventually, I have to get better, and I know it's gonna look and feel like that. I know that.
Yeah.
Because and I didn't even do that. Like at first, I tried a softer way. You know, I tried a maintenance program.
Yeah.
But then eventually, I didn't. I was just like fed up with the maintenance program, so I went home and I kicked cold turkey.
Yeah.
And it was horrific. It was just the way that they pictured it in the movie. It was.
I didn't have.
Painful.
I wasn't a dope or opiates guy. I mean, I dabbled in pills like when they were around. But when I was in jail, there was a guy. His name was Scott too. Great. I hate to say great guy because what he was in there for. Nothing like disgusting or anything like that. Just like a piece of shit.
Right.
But that, man, dude, that's another thing about jail is you meet all these guys away from all their addictions. They're good dudes. I hate to say that.
No, dude.
But it wasn't bad. Like, they're good people. Yeah. Some of them are shitheads, and they're just. But that's like a result of them being broken. Mm-hmm. They're not bad people. They just don't know what to do with themselves. But I watched a guy come down off opiates. And he didn't talk to anybody for like days, just wrapped up in a blanket, only got up to like shit and throw up pretty much, and just was in a blanket, shaking, cold, like sweating, whether it was hot or not. And he was just like kind of a miserable prick for a few days. And then he started to come out of it. He could eat a little bit, always with a blanket, always sweaty. But it did not seem fun.
It's miserable.
Yeah.
It's absolutely miserable.
I quit booze cold turkey.
So alcohol withdrawal is far worse than dope.
Really?
Man, because you can have a stroke. I would seize out. I would constantly have seizures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I never got that bad. I was drinking a bottle a day.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I quit. I felt terrible. There was like there was like almost a week where I was just like useless, crawling around. Like, I was fucked up. But after that, it didn't get horrible for me. Never seizures. But I'm very, I don't know, man. Do you ever feel like you're like lucky to be alive?
Yeah.
I feel like that a lot.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one night that I remember in particular where I was up for like, it was like the third day of my kick, and like I was like swaying back and forth in pain and my heart was going so fast. I was like, this is it. I was like, this is it. Like, I'm going to fucking die. It was 4:00 in the morning. I'm outside on my mother's porch at the apartment she lived in. I'm smoking a cigarette. And I'm just, my parents are, my dad and mom are dead asleep. And I just remember like screaming what I thought was help. But like, I thought I was screaming, but it was just like I could barely get it out. And I just remember all of a sudden I just started to like calm down. And like, it just, I like turned this corner. Like, but I was like, I for sure in that moment, I'll never forget it. I was like, this is it. I'm going to fucking die right now.
Wow.
I'm going to die.
And how much longer did you?
Probably about another 6 months.
That's the best. Yeah. That's always what I love.
Yeah. Another 6 months. Yep.
When I went to jail, I got tattooed. I'm covered in tattoos, but I had tattoos. I got them in jail, and they were the last day I had a drink before I went into jail, and I got them covered up before I left jail. Because
you're like,
I knew, dude. I knew when I was like, maybe not immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, but I'm probably gonna get drunk. And it only took like, again, I got in the restaurants and it was game over.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started doing this, because my first one was very lovey to kind of like this. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until podcasting or comedy that I could quit, because it was like I found a purpose. And that's what I have people that come up to me now, and I bartended at the Comedy Cellar, and there was a few people there that it was my last bartending job before I went full time, comedy and stuff. And it was there's I shouldn't say whatever, but there are people that have come up to me and just been like, how do you get through that? Because you seem like so. I'm still not like all this stuff, but I don't have that issue anymore. And they're like, how do you do it? And I just think purpose.
Yeah.
I really think you need a purpose. I really think you need something that is, and I know it's so cliche. All this shit, all the things that work are so unbelievably cliche.
Right.
But they're cliche for a reason. Mm-hmm. And if you have something that you care about, then you won't fuck it up. Like if you just decide you're like, well, this is more important. And that's how I felt about comedy. Is I saw a small, years before it happened, but I saw a small glimmer through a crack of like, maybe this could be my life.
Right.
And I literally just the next day was like, nope, no meetings, no nothing, not that I, whatever, it just wasn't for me. And I'd gone, I tried that. I had 9 months sober, 4 months sober, 3 months sober. I'd done that multiple times. I tried, not fully sober. It was just smoking weed. I tried the no booze cocaine thing for a little which makes no sense. But when I figured out that this was ruining my life, and the thing I put in my little calendar, like you have the little app that shows you like a message every day. Mm-hmm. It'll come up and be like, hey, there's your thing you typed in, and it would say mine said that you'll never be the person you want to be if you keep drinking. And I just thought about that every day, and it was true.
Yeah.
It was like that wasn't the only thing, but it was hindering me from being the person. And once I decided that I could be whoever I wanted to be and I can accomplish things I wanted to accomplish, then the drinking was just like, okay, well, you can either have this life that or you can go down this road that you don't know. Right. Like, and as a curious person, it's like, well, I know how this ends.
Right, exactly.
I'm doing this every day.
But so there's the buzz, right, that we're always searching for in these new endeavors, right? Like I get a feeling from doing this, like I'm going to leave here, I'm going to feel great, right? Yeah. And there's often that comes from, the sober community that I'm part of. Like I'll leave there and I'll feel great about just being useful, right? Not doing so many things in vain, right? So it's like we kind of talked about this, like when we do this and I start to see this as a possible revenue stream, and that if it doesn't get the notoriety or likes or views or whatever, and I'm not like, I start to steal from it, I start to steal all the beauty and magic from it, you know what I mean? And then then I start to think about giving up. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, who the fuck do I think I am? Like, why would I do this? Like, I'm not reaching anybody. And that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is that we're doing something right now that's valuable. That's valuable,